One of the most important things for me to explain to folks, I think, is to tell them be on the lookout for what changes, be on the lookout for what evolves and what changes as to a number of different events and different things. What do I mean? President Trump and this revolution is like something we have never really experienced before. And understand something that when you're talking to most people, and I've known this my whole life, most people do not know as much as you know. Remember that. Most people do not know as much as you know. And this may come as a surprise. This may sound kind of haughty, but it's true. And I've known this my whole life. You have to understand that we're on a different planet. And it's not that people are stupid, it's that people are not curious. People don't want to spend a lot of time worrying about or discussing things that involve and require a certain degree of extra effort in terms of the analysis. People don't really want to think about things. People really don't, honest to God, enjoy the idea of really peeling apart the layers of the onion, so to speak. They don't. They live in a world of very simple things, very, very simple. They don't want anybody to give you nuance or dimension or any kind of dissection of the issue. In fact, they will pronounce dissect as dissect, and that's a clear giveaway. Clear giveaway. So understand this. If you want to engage this, people will ask you questions. You know, what do you think about this? Remember, the people you're talking to do not know what you're saying. I will also say to you that there are many, many places on YouTube in particular and Twitter where you can go to really find a lot of information. And it's wonderful and it's great. But you will find a lot of other places where people don't know anything. Take, for example, Israel. Listen to Thune. Listen to we might as well just stop discussing Middle East, Israel, Palestine, Gaza, and just say, listen, we have just suspended all discussion. We have given this pen to Bibi Netanyahu. You write whatever you need, and we'll go along with it. We're not even going to discuss it. Whatever you want. Don't even ask how long you bomb, where you bomb, how you bomb, whom you bomb, who's hurt, who's killed. Doesn't matter. We don't care. That's what the government should say. We should just say, we don't have any say in this. Bibi, here's the pen. Whatever you want. Write it. Zelensky will get to you in a moment. But Bibi, don't worry about it. There is no daylight. There is no left and right. There is no nothing. Now, how do you explain this to people? You can't. You can't explain this to people because people don't want to hear this. They don't want to know this. They've been told an idea. They've been told a narrative. And the narrative they've been told is that, for example, it's Israel against the terrorists. And they're all terrorists. And Lebanon, terrorists. Iran, terrorists. They're all terrorists. They all fund this. They encourage this. They foment this. Yeah, kids are going to die. Yeah, look, you want to make an omelet, you got to break a few eggs. But they're asking for it. They all right. So that's it. Let's just do ourselves a favor and just don't even talk about it here. Now, if you want to talk about it, if you want to hear what's going on, what the rest of the world think, well, you don't go anything on cable. You sure as hell don't go on Fox News or anything else for that matter. And you don't ask Marco Rubio or Elise Stefanik or any of these other people, okay? Because they will call you anti-Semitic for answering questions. You understand how this works? Good. Make sure you understand how this thing works. So here's what we're going to do, my friends. We're going to start off with some great questions. We're going to ask you, first of all, to make sure you are subscribed to Lionel Nation, which is critical. I can't explain this enough to you. Make sure that you are listening very, very carefully to what's going on. And also, as has been the case right now, because I don't know about you, but we go into a lot of places where we use Wi-Fi's and we go into coffee shops and we're maybe in places where people are tapping in. I mean, just go look at your Wi-Fi, all the available Wi-Fi channels that are there, and you're thinking to yourself, can anybody tap into this? Can anybody steal my stuff? Oh yeah. And is there anything I should look to, that any device I should have that can prevent this? Oh, yeah. Let me ask you a question. When's the last time you checked your devices for malware? Malware attacks have increased 643% since 2020, with approximately 10 million personal and corporate devices compromised with data stealing malware in just the last year alone. Additionally, 19.8% of computers face at least one malware attack annually. This emphasizes the critical need for individual users to protect themselves, their devices, and their data. This is why I use today's sponsor, Virtual Shield Antivirus Pro, and I love the peace of mind it gives me. Virtual Shield Antivirus Pro is an award-winning antivirus with real-time protection, malware removal, ad blocking, scheduled scans, multi-device protection, and more that stops malicious downloads in their tracks. Without Virtual Shield Antivirus Pro, I would risk my finances, banking details, personal data, and more getting into the hands of cyber criminals. Thanks again to Virtual Shield Antivirus Pro for sponsoring today's extravaganza. And do yourself a favor and sign up for a free 7-day free trial, of Virtual Shield Antivirus Pro during their early Black Friday sale happening now, and get up to 75% off. Yes, you heard that. Up to 75% off only at virtualshield.com/Lionel. Once again, that's virtualshield.com/Lionel. Now, a couple of things here. First and foremost here, friends, let me see if I can make sure we get to square one of this. Lawfare regarding the president is over. He will have every single case against him dismissed eventually in one form or another. It'll be a motion to dismiss. It'll be voluntary dismissal. I don't think they're going to go for a conviction, and then Judge Mershon here in New York will say, well, I'm going to suspend the sentence or whatever. I think it's going to be, I don't think Trump or anybody would take any kind or would agree to any kind of a quote conviction. President Trump is not convicted. President Trump is not convicted. Let me say this again. Maybe you didn't hear me. President Trump is not convicted. There has to be a formal finding of guilt, an adjudication of guilt before one is convicted. What does that mean? Perfect analogy. If you get speeding tickets, depending upon your jurisdiction, there are times when you can go before a judge, enter a plea of no contest, and the judge will say, I tell you what, you go to driving school? Yeah. I'll withhold adjudication, keep the points off your record, and dispose of the case. You're not convicted. No points. It says withhold, adjudication withheld. Sometimes it reads adjudication withheld, adjudication disposition unknown, blah, 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 blah. Okay, you got it? You got it? Okay. Simple. So he's not convicted. So this is going to be over. Every single case, everything is going away. And you will not see Alina Habba anytime soon. Or anybody else for that matter, because Trump said, thank you, but no thanks. No. Levitt, Carolyn, no, thank you, Alina. See ya. Where is Kimberly Guilfoyle? Who knows? Where'd that go? Where's Mark Cuban? Notice when people leave, and speaking of Mark Cuban, let me explain something. To the next story. Okay, you ready for this? The next story. This is critical, dear and wonderful friends. This, I wish I could tell you. Hang on a minute. Now, how do we say this? I'm going to start. The story which is the most interesting to me. Is that of this bathroom transgender stuff, because it is such a great story. Why is it great? Let me tell you. It's great because people love it. It deals with stuff like, gender and hating trans and all this stuff, because that's really what it is. A lot of people hate trans, hate them, can't stand them. It's true. It is true. And what people don't understand, what people don't grasp, what people don't really fully understand is something very, very simple. And that is simply this. This is an issue which is so important, and it is beyond the scope of YouTube, Twitter, or most conversations, because you are never going to meet people smart enough, deep enough, knowledgeable enough, interesting enough, and analytical enough to spend time with the subject. So what we do is we cover it in a very surface level. We don't really get into it. We don't. Most people don't. We don't have time. We believe in drive-by, kind of double parked issues. We talk about things as though we're double parked. Our good friend Ryan says, if the deep state ever wanted to use lawfare, which they have, the future to cripple a political outsider, I think they've overplayed it. It's a ruined avenue of attack. Wonder what else they've got up their sleeve. Oh, well, yeah, I appreciate this and thank you. We will see. We will absolutely see. But let me go through this again. This is the most important. As you know, there is a story that's most fascinating. There is a woman, a transgender woman, who is scheduled to be sworn in. Sarah McBride, who is a state senator from the president's hometown of Claymont, Delaware. Biden has more damn. He's from Scranton. He's from Claymont. He's from here. He was raised in Garden City. He's from everywhere. It's fascinating. Anyway, she is going to be in it. Okay, now Nancy Mace led the charge against allowing her to use the women's restrooms on Capitol Hill. Okay, so you got McBride, the trans woman, born as a man, and then Nancy Mace, who claims that she was herself the victim of sexual battery, sexual attack, whatever, and that gives her another aspect to this. Now, this is the most fascinating thing anybody's ever seen. And I'm sorry, this McBride and Mace, and what's the big deal? First, the right, and I'm going to just call us, and please, we hate transgender anything. Hate them. freaks, phonies, crazy. Nobody wants to give these folks the time of day. Am I right? Am I right? Yes or wrong? Yes or no? I mean, the right doesn't want these people, hurt or in prison. I mean, some might, but the right can't stand these people. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? Now, there's people right now. Well, no, yes, it's true, absolutely, and people say wholeheartedly can't stand these people because the right. And I'm sure some of the left, but I'm using these terms. Please forgive me, just for shorthand purpose. I don't have time to go into and designate, but just for shorthand purposes. There is this thing that people they just hate, especially if they look like Rachel Levine. Rachel Levine hit a nerve and was put in there deliberately because Rachel Levine is hideous. No matter what, Rachel Levine looks like a Muppet or something, and that's the reason why. It was done on purpose. Let me tell you something. There are women, there are people, there are more trans folks out there than you will ever know who will blow you away. Interesting phraseology. You would never. You would call them, I don't know what. But believe me, and there are also people that could have been selected that would have been less glaring, less obvious, but that's not what they wanted. They wanted somebody that that they knew would immediately say, wow. And it has to do with aesthetics. Now, this McBride, it's like the uncanny valley. Remember when John, what's his name? The fellow from Roseanne, John River, he used to dress up as Janet Reno. Remember that one? It was kind of like okay. So here's the story. Now, the thing is, which is most interesting, is that if you are a trans woman, which means a man, you were born a biological man. Let me go through this because this story is still going on and it's still being bigger and I can't get away from it. But work with me through this. And what I'm doing right now, nobody would ever spend any time doing this because this takes too much time to go through this. But let me see if I can. Ladies, let's say you are in the ladies' room at the Capitol or otherwise. And I've never been in a ladies' room, in an active ladies' room, but I would imagine in addition to the particular processes that are going on, there's primping and mirror work and talking and a lot of cell phone photos or whatever it is. Okay. But I mean, people aren't, checking everybody out. So if a woman, transgender woman, biological man walks in and he or she is not bothering anybody and they talk about penises flopping around and I don't know where this place is that this happens, but if you were there and a woman walks in, a man, whatever, you wouldn't notice a thing. You're too busy. You're not in there a long time. Most people are in and out. They got to go. You're at a mall. I got to go in. Boom, boom. I'm done. Now, unless the person were to be standing up, that might be a giveaway in the stall, standing up, right? And the sound of, see, if I take water, if I take this coffee cup here, and I were to, let's say, take water and put it over a toilet bowl like this, maybe this far away, it makes a certain noise. If I drop it from a foot up or so, it's much louder, right? That might get your attention. Short of that, you won't know they're there. You don't care they're there. It doesn't make any difference if nobody's flopping anything around, saying anything, lusting after children. Most of the time, you don't even know. You don't care. That's the reality of the situation. You know it. I know it. We all know it. Most people don't go into restrooms and just, some do, some have. And there were these creepy people on Instagram and people who talk, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to grab you and your kids and I'm going to get. I don't know who these people are either. So this is a moot issue. It's so rare. It is so like, okay, but that's not what it's about. It's about the symbology. It's about the symbology, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. It's about what it means. Okay? It's about what it means. And don't ever forget this. You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? Now, the issue then becomes, was this done specifically to target McBride? Well, yeah. Does it make any sense? Not really. McBride, as Marjorie Taylor Greene says, most members of Congress have their own bathroom. They own their own thing. They don't have to do this. So it's kind of a symbolic thing, isn't it? You better believe it. It's a symbolic thing. Maurice says, I guess Milton Berle would have to change his act. Well, only if Milton Berle wanted, speaking of Menschelit, only if he wanted to walk in dressed as a woman into a ladies' room. I understand the humor and I thank you this. All right? You understand? Okay. This is an issue which has nothing. Let me tell you what this is. This is an issue of we've had it with you and your drag shows and all this crap, and we're sick of you and everybody. You got that? We're sick of you and all of these people. We're sick and tired of you and these freaks. And this is okay. Maybe it is symbolic. Okay, so what? So bloody what? Big deal. We're sick and that's what this is about. That's what this is about. Years ago in Florida, there was a constitutional amendment to make English the official language of. It was an anti-Cuban. People were tired of this stuff. You go to Hialeah and you go to a bank and they have a sign that says, we speak English. People were sick and tired of this. And the hell with you. And English is the official language and the hell with it and shut up. And people are sick and tired of it. And it's about this. And they're going to have a referendum because you don't understand it. America has had it. America, the right, hates Gay Mala, Timmy, Tampon Timmy, these freaks. I'm not necessarily subscribing to this. I am ascribing. I'm telling you the way it is. Now, interesting point too. This is also critical. Ladies and gentlemen, Sicilian Boogeyman, who's been a member, says, why is it never a trans woman wanting in a men's room? We don't know this. Why are there not trans men? Trans men. Why not? Why don't trans men, people born women, why aren't trans men, Boogeyman? Why aren't trans men trying to get into female sports or male sports? Because they suck. Why doesn't a trans man, a woman, ever try out or get on the NBA? Because she sucks compared to a man. Why? I was listening yesterday to one of the most fascinating subjects ever. Why? I think there is one woman in the world of chess. I think she's ranked 28. She's in the top, whatever it is. Chess is exclusively Magnus, girls, all men. Do you think that there is something organically, neurologically different about men's brains than women? And this woman, it was very interesting. I was waiting and I'm just listening to I was in the car and I'm listening to this. It's fascinating. She says, well, no, because you have opened. It's the way you have to look at the total number of players. For example, the number of African Americans are nothing. Well, that doesn't mean African Americans can't play chess. It means that the number of people in competitive don't, whatever it is. Okay. But we always, we love gender and we just love it and we're focused by it. And what this is about is people are saying we really don't care about this. Now, let me stop right there. I'll take what I've just said and move it over here. Okay. Just put it over here for just a moment. Just put it over here for just a moment. Please, I ask you. There is something about us. I'm going to say us. I'm going to make this very, very easy so you can hear what I'm saying. There's something very, very weird about us in that we are very mean. We're very mean. We love to say things like, and this Mace lady does it too. She says, we have pictures of Rachel. Today's what? International Man's Day. It's one of these. Now we have International Colors Day, International Little Day, all these days. But I read something about International Man's Day or Men's Day or whatever. And it said International Men's Day. And there was a picture of Rachel Maddow. And we love to do that. Our side loves to just, Rachel Maddow, from what I believe, I don't know, I've never asked about it, considers herself, I believe, a woman. Rachel Maddow considers herself a woman. She may be a lesbian or same sex or whatever preference, but I think she's in a relationship a long time. She considers herself a woman. She may dress, as you say, mannish. To wit, what about our friend Mia Farrow? Mia Farrow years ago had real short hair and wore a dress but looked like a little boy. Frank Sinatra married her. Well, that's different. Why is that different? JM says, you missing locker room problem. It's related to bathrooms. Trans rights people want to tie bathrooms to locker rooms in all women's spaces. Give them bathrooms and they take all private women's places. I love this language, but thank you very much. Now we're going to get to that coming up. And thank you for that. Because you've got to be careful and you got to be a little patient as we develop and build. Just like you build the sauce, you build the flavors, you build the issues, you build, because this is not about locker rooms are next. No, this is restrooms now. And they do mention this in there, and we'll get to that in a moment. But thank you. But recognize what's happening. Mark Cuban looks like a woman. Chris Hayes looks like, and they all look like Rachel Maddow. Yeah, she's a man. Yeah, she's not a man. No, she might not be a man. She's got short hair. Mia Farrow had short hair. What difference? Don't quit bringing up Mia Farrow. Wait a minute. What are you doing? We love this. We love this because forget the locker room. We don't like these people. And with all due respect, and I appreciate this, and you bring up a great point, JM, forget the locker room. We don't like these people. I say we. They don't like them. They're weird. And how many people think that transgender people are crazy? You think they're crazy. Oh, they may not be, mental hospital crazy, but they're crazy. They're crazy. And they're part of this leftist, Kamala weird world of Biden. And you're sick and tired and you're right. You're sick of it. You're sick and tired of these people. Okay? You are. It's okay. They're sick and tired of you. You can be sick and tired of them. Now, let's talk about locker rooms. Now, let's talk about places where people are usually walking around naked. Completely different. Completely different. Unless you decide to get naked in the ladies' room at the Short Hills Mall. This is all pretty much, but it's about locker rooms. Okay. And there are some people, and we've seen it. We went to one of these Planet Fitness things, and sure enough, there's some guy in there, there's some dude, and nobody would say anything. Ooh, don't say anything. All right, okay. Now, next issue. Whose feelings are more important? The trans man? Let's say you're a woman and you're saying, I am a trans woman. And I'm going to walk in there with imagine a woman who looks like Betty Rubble or Betty Boop or something. She's got the hair. And I'm going to have to walk around and I have to go from the shower and I'm embarrassed and I'm a man, but I don't want to go with a bunch of men because I'll look like them and I'll feel embarrassed. So I individually, me, want all the women, ladies, guess what? Sorry, I'm going into your locker room because I don't want to feel embarrassed. You can be embarrassed. You can be freaked out. You can say, this is weird. And if you happen to be a rape or an abuse victim, I don't care. That's your problem. I'm a lefty. I want this. That's it. Shut up. That's what we're going to do. Got it? That's it. So who wins? I got to be Solomon. Who wins? Restrooms may be different. Locker rooms? No. Now, how would you go about doing this? What if I said, okay, listen, you can't walk around nude. Would that make any difference? That's not the point. That's not the point. What? What is it? What's going to happen? Do the women in there? Yes. They were there first. There are more of them, and they have the final say. If the institutions want to build on, if Planet Fitness or Planet this or Equinox or whoever the hell it is, if they feel so strongly about it, build a trans special one, whatever it is. But but because of convention and because of real time, real world realities, that's the way it goes. Period. End of discussion. That's it. Because this is bullshit. And what you were seeing people doing is that they love to shove this down your throat. I know it's a weird expression, okay? It's this weird thing, and people are sick of it. And we're not talking about black people in the water fountains. I mean, no. Sorry. Doesn't work like that. And that's what this is about. And that's why this particular legislation is not just about a bathroom. It's not just about that. It's about something bigger. Now, let me also explain something to you. For the first time in a long time, there seems to be a big deal. There's a meme going around. You probably have seen it. A meme. And this meme is important. And it's for the first time in a long time. A blonde, attractive, as they say, beautiful, or with regular hair, of regular weight, who looks like a prototypical woman, wins Miss Universe. And this was, for the first time or whatever, not a trans, but a white, not that, no. The thing is, whites were like, don't even apply. But a white woman with, whatever, this won, or she won. Does this mean something? Absolutely. White people have been shelved. Blonde hair, blue eyes, not interesting. Raul says a symbol is harmless until it develops legs. Oh, very good. Touche. Now, this is a critical thing right now. Now, one thing which I find fascinating, and this is something which is something that I've thought about forever since I was in high school. I don't know, and I'm not going to say, but normally you can spot artificial or breast implants or boob job, whatever you want to call it, mammoplasty, a mile away. It is so obvious. Not me, obviously, if there's some kind of, something where you can see these hemisphere perfect. Stop it. I don't get it. You want to talk about fake? Let's talk about this. You want to talk about trans? How about trans breast? Here's what I don't understand. Maybe you can help me with this because I don't get it. I don't get it. I've never understood this. Okay. Do you know why most men do not go to plastic surgeons and say, hey, do me a favor. Would you put in some saline bags so I can look like, just so give me 19-inch guns. Would you give me 19-inch guns? Would you do this? Would you do that? Most men would say, I don't want that. Why? What do you mean you don't want that? Well, I don't want that. By the way, Comcast to spin off MSNBC, CNBC, and cable channels. You know what that means. We'll get to that later, okay? We'll get to that later. But anyway, why? Because it's not real. Because I don't have the concomitant strength. I can't bench 500. It's not real. Now, I'm sure some guys use that. Have you seen synthol, that horrible oily penguin stuff they shoot? It's horrible. But it's not real. It's not real. I don't understand. I'm not going to do it. And some women have said, and this is a very, very sad thing. Some people have said, well, either they feel that maybe their natural breast size isn't large enough, or maybe whatever it is. And listen, let me tell you something. Reconstructive, God bless reconstructive surgery. Few women who suffered, or had mastectomies or cancer. God bless these. God bless these people 100%. And if it makes you feel better, if you're born and your nose is crooked or whatever, but you do whatever you want to feel better. I don't care. It's your body. And if it makes you feel better, well, God damn it, you do it. Do it. You want to lose weight? You want to get a tattoo? Don't get a tattoo. Whatever you want to do, it's your body. Do it. I got no problem with that. Doesn't matter whether I've got a problem. It's your body. Who the hell am I? You got it? Am I making sense to you? Good. But for some reason, we live in a world where somebody who says, you know what, I'm a 30, whatever it is, I'm going to be a 34. Okay. All right. Want to be a 34? Okay. Oh, so you just want, I just want this tape measure to say 34 or 35, whatever the particular number is. That's what I want. I want this number, this tape measure. No matter what you do, you can put in these hemispheres. They're, rock hard, boom, boom. As hard as a rock. It doesn't matter. It's a free country. Do whatever you want. It's not real. Well, no, it's not real. It's not you. It's not you. Well, it makes me feel, okay, fine, but it's not you. It's not real. Ladies, there are some women who say, I will not date or marry a man unless he's 6 feet tall. That's it. 6 feet tall. Okay. And there are some men who say, I'm not going to marry a woman unless she's a 30, thick, whatever it is. And that's demented, but there are people who think this way. Okay, fine. So if a man who's not 6 feet tall were to use those, remember the Irishman? Remember those Frankenstein boots that De Niro wore? What if he wore those? And hey, look, I'm 6 feet tall now. And you say, what is this? No, I'm 6 feet tall. No, you're not. Well, you're not a 35C or whatever it is. Well, I'm 6 feet tall. Well, that's different. Why is that different? That's not real. You had that surgically done. I just put these shoes on. You want 6 feet? I'm standing. You want your tape measure to go here? You do. This is the thing I don't understand. What is real anymore? Not only that, this one's died. This one's not a blonde. This one's got kind of. I mean, we're so. When you talk about transgender, we can say trans breast, trans memory, trans height, trans. What is real anymore? What is what you were born with? You weren't born like that. Well, you weren't born with those or potentially those, and you weren't born to be 6 feet tall, and you weren't born. Do you see where I'm going? Does this make any sense to you? The issue we should be talking about, what is really real? What this is a referendum. This is a part of the anti, the anti Gemala group. That's what that's about. That's what that's about. We have to start asking ourselves, the number of black women who've bleached their skins over the year? Have you ever seen women over the year who they get lighter? Black women, lighter. Wait a minute. Why are you getting lighter? A lot of Indian women, they had these bleaching creams. And there was a time in Iran when all the women had bandages. They had nose jobs because they wanted the Western nose. And well, what's real anymore? Isn't that transnasal? Are we talking about trans? There are people I've known, I'm not going to mention any, but you know who they are, black actresses who they were real dark and now they're real light. What happened here? It's a free country, but isn't that interesting? Black, 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 black. The thing that you black is a black African-American person of color. But my color, I don't like my color. I'm going to blanch my color. Wait a minute. You're not a person of color anymore. Oh, yes, I am. Wait a minute. No, you're not. You were darker. Well, so what? That's what made you a person of color. Now you got rid of the color. What do you call yourself now? The hypocrisy. It's all nonsense. This is the thing we got to ask. Who are you? I sound like the who. So let's circle back, as we say. The issue theoretically with this Mason, whatever, is this notion of the restroom. Okay, and by the way, it's ridiculous because Congress people have their own bathroom. They don't go to the public. Doesn't matter. And how do you tell if somebody's a biological? I don't know. But I think it makes more sense in walking around in locker rooms. And I think the point's well taken. Women should not be in the position of being made to feel strange by some man walking around nude. Media Pilgrim says gluteus maximus implants, chunk in the trunk. Thank you so much. Years ago, I had a friend of mine. I don't believe he speaks with me anymore, but years ago, his name is Joe Redner. And Joe Redner was the progenitor, the developer of the lap dance in Tampa. He had a place called the Mons Venus. And it's always been associated with lap dancing and whatever. Okay, fine. He was, maybe not so much anymore, but he was always arrested and he fought freedom of speech, and his lawyer, Luke LaRoe, did a wonderful job. Anyway, I don't think Joe likes me anymore because I think he thinks I'm a right wing or whatever. It doesn't matter. This is a story of my life. But anyway, make a long story short, years ago, I asked him, I said, why don't women's clubs work? Why are all your clubs men going to see women dancing on a pole? Which is the saddest. Gentlemen's clubs are the saddest. It used to be OTB. You ever see OTB, off-track betting, here in New York? Oh, they were so sad. It was one on like 9th Avenue. Oh, these people are in there. They're just degenerates. But a gentleman's club is like the saddest. These people are sitting there staring at these women, and they just want to get off. They want to get here, pay me. Here's the money, stick it in my, oh, God, it's awful. So anyway, so I asked Joe, I said, why don't women, this is true. Why don't you have a version of this? Okay, so years ago, there was this thing called Chippendales. Now, Chippendales were a bunch of guys who came out, mostly gay, which is true, and they would do this thing, and they would do this dancing. And they were in great shape, they had little bow ties and stuff, but they weren't nude, and that was preferred. And even then, there's bachelorette parties and all that, but it's still not like men. So I asked him, I said, what do you think the reason for that is? Why don't you think? Listen carefully. He said, well, one of the reasons why, and I thought this was very interesting. He says, one of the reasons why the phallus is considered by many women to be a weapon. And when somebody is sitting there and something is, whatever, moving around, it, aside from whatever the aesthetics are, it is considered to be a weapon. And it is considered to be dangerous and assaultive. And even gay male places don't necessarily have that. And there might be something inherently aesthetic. I'm going to give you one last theory, a hypothesis of mine, which means that men and women basically find women attractive more than men. Let me explain to you why. Why do you think that is? Because of mother. The first person that you meet in your life that you better be attracted to, or put it this way, not repulsed by, is your mother. The woman who feeds you, the woman who takes care of you, the woman who watches for you. If you don't like this person and you reject your mother, you're dead. You don't exist anymore. That's why you will always hear women say, more often, and I always thought this was weird. Oh, she's beautiful. Oh, I got a girl crush on him. Oh, she's beautiful. Isn't she beautiful? It's like, why are you saying that? Because she is. She's beautiful. Now, if two guys are going, isn't he handsome? Is this guy handsome? Oh, hey. But women can do this. Oh, have you met my girlfriend? She's my girlfriend. My girlfriend? Have you met my boyfriend? What? Women can sometimes hold hands. Sometimes they're allowed so much more closeness, which leads to greater experimentation, greater propinquity, and the greater instances and opportunities for meeting via this thing called intimacy, which men don't understand whatsoever. It's fascinating because the real issue that nobody wants to discuss, not even Jordan Peterson, is what is gender, what is sexuality, and what is it that really we are attracted to. I'm going to go one step further. There are men that I know who will never admit to it. They're married, they got families, this and that. They prefer men. They love homoerotic. They're in the military, firemen, police. They love to go hunting. They love to be on sports teams. They love the guys. They got the man. They want to watch sports with the guys. Nothing wrong with that. But they spend a lot of time with the guys. They don't really know. They don't really like women. Women, they don't like them. They don't get along with them. They got their wife and they got their daughter, but that's about it. They do not know how to deal with women. They like men. And I see it all the time. Look at these videos of ex-military. Look at me and my tattoos. I was in the SEAL Team. I was Delta Force. I was a Ranger. Tell us about it. Yeah. He's like, you're a man. I'm a man. Everybody want to see me do my boy. Yeah, man. Wasn't he crazy? What is that? You never thought about that, did you? What is that? I remember in high school when Arnold Schwarzenegger came along, playing the examples, Stay Hungry and Pumping Iron. Joe Weider had the magazines. I remember in high school, we're sitting there going through this stuff. I said, look at what we're doing. I said, we're looking at men. We're looking at men. This guy was squat. Look at that body. That's the body I want. You like that body? That's the body I want. What are we doing? What goes, oh, I said, isn't this odd that we're looking at men all the time? What do you think this is? See, nobody wants to talk about that. What makes you a man? Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Not head. Not head. What makes you a man or a woman? I don't even know. Let me see if we can see Fred. Fred, what makes you a man? Trash man. What makes you a man? And don't point to your crotch. Please. Nick, what makes you a man? Right now. You're a man. Why are you a man? How are you a man? How do you? Alana, I guess. Alana, I guess a woman. How are you a woman? Please forgive me. I'm trying to get a female name right. You get a we're very bad. Edie. Edie, why are you a woman? How are you exhibiting your women? Your how? How? Right now, how are you experiencing? Look at this. I love this. Menstruation spelled incorrectly, but that's okay. Happy Love says sperm. Biology. Missed the point completely. Thank you very much. Thank you. Everybody missed it completely. Right now, I'm sitting here. I'm sitting here. There's a woman here. How am I exuding my maleness? What is my when does it come into play? What does it matter? Right now. Right now. What does it mean? How do I say, well, eyesight, I'm aware of that more than anything else. I need glasses. Eyesight, maybe physical capabilities, maybe height or weight. I can't grab this or get, I'm aware of my eyesight, my height, my weight, my age, but my gender. How does my gender manifest itself? How? Look at this. Nobody gets it. Your beard, masculine energy, genetic makeup. Again, men are protective. That's not true. Kimmy, sorry. Nope. Men are protective, women are nurturing. No, it's not. No. You're not answering. Hand farts. Thank you. That's right. How do you deal with this? How? Punctuality? No. This is what's interesting. Go and watch, if you ever get the chance, I don't know why you would, but if there was like a Chuck E. Cheese and you watch a little girl's party and a little boy's party, that's it. Watch that. And these have had no training whatsoever. No, I mean, there might have been some cues and the like. No. Somebody says, real men are protective. Okay, I'm sitting here right now. I'm not protecting anybody. How do I exhibit my masculinity? Do I have to wait to be protective? I haven't had a chance to be protective yet. What do I do? How do I exhibit this? I don't know. If you're in a, if you're, let me ask you something. Let's say you're a heterosexual man and you're the boss and you have 20 women, 20 years old, or let's say 30 years old, and they're all single and you're married. What does that mean? What happens? Do you not do your job? Do you do your job less? Does it affect anything? No. What difference does it make? I don't know. What difference? Is there a difference? Okay, what if you're a woman and you have 10 30-year-old men and you're a woman? Everybody's heterosexual. Does it make any difference? Do you treat them differently? Do you act differently? I don't know. What if you're a man and your entire office staff is gay men? Does that make any difference? My point is, and I hope you understand it, our gender means nothing. It doesn't come into play at all. Never. It really doesn't. I mean, other than, things like you got to shave or whatever, it doesn't come into play. It doesn't. How many times do we go to public restrooms? How many times? I don't know. Are we making too much out of it or don't we? The thing about it is the reason why it makes a difference to us is we don't want them to destroy the notion of gender. We don't want them to destroy the notion of what men and women are. We don't want them to destroy the idea of men and women and marriage and children and mom and dad and babies and fetuses. We don't want them coming in to our world and destroying every little thing it can from gender to whatever it is. And we have to stop it. That's what it's about. And what's also interesting is you find somebody right now who, this is incredible. Please go back and read this with all due respect. Virtually everybody did not understand my question. Everybody who wrote did not understand it. Talked about something else. That's not what I said. Either I did a very poor job explaining it, which I think I did, or nobody understands it. And that's what YouTube is all about. Do not waste your time going into anything. Remember, Fox News, very, very basic questions. Do not ask somebody, okay, I'm sitting here, a woman is sitting there. Okay, how do you feel? Like a woman. What does that mean? I don't know. That's my point. As opposed to, we're nurturing. No, I'm not nurturing anybody right now. We're stronger. I'm not picking up anything right now. People do not like to extrapolate beyond the obvious. That's all I'm going to say. Now, the big news. Kyiv. Where do you get your... Who's scared about what's happening in Russia right now? Who's scared? Anybody? Anybody scared? Nah. No. Not really. Anybody scared? Nah. Why? It'll work its way out. I gotta understand what Kyiv is. It Kiev? We call it Kyiv now. What have I do? I don't know. Or do you? I don't know. Anybody scared about that? Not really. Not really. Where would you go? Where would you go? Anybody? Where do you go to learn? Where do you go? I don't know. Well, it means absolutely nothing to us. Let's go to RT right now. RT.com, one of the best. Kremlin rules out freezing Ukraine conflict. Look at the issues. Russian howitzer crew strikes Ukrainian drone team. Trump has returned the favor. Village in God's own country celebrates Doge appointment. Moscow accuses Meta and Google of distorting the truth. Ooh. Bank of Russia names conditions for interest rate cuts. Kyiv has permission to launch long-range strikes. This is the dumbest thing ever. So what happens? What does this mean? What is going to happen if an ATACMS, the Army Tactical Missile System, hits? What happens then? I don't know. Anybody concerned about that? I don't know. Okay. Why? Because, I don't know. Because we're Americans and we don't think about anything international. We don't think anything beyond. If it's not happening here, we really don't understand. We don't. It's almost like a. How do I say this? It's almost like a. It's like a mental block. We can't do this. We can't. And we also don't like to think about things that are scary. We'll talk about stuff. We love things that are kind of simple to understand, but we don't like scary. What was Reddy and King singing about then? What was Reddy and King? Is this Helen Reddy and Carole King? Natural Woman? Is that it? I don't know. We have to be specific with our questions. Is that what you mean? I understand that. I think Helen Reddy was talking about, to answer the question. I know this is being kind of flippant, but hers was regarding the idea of women's rights, feminism. There are two different things right now. There's a book. Mrs. L went to an event, has a beautiful book on Glamour magazine. Explain this. Do you think what women understand the notion of glamour? I have no idea what you're talking about. How do I know this? Doug Emhoff's daughter, who was a model. I don't know if anybody knows anything about it. There's a Barbie exhibit going on right now. Fascinating. I was trying to explain to a woman, and they don't understand it. See, that's who we are. Let me explain something to you very, very simply. When I mention to people, preparewithlionel.com, emergency food, you know what first thing Americans do is they go, I don't want to think about that. Burglar alarms, I'll think about that. Carbon monoxide, I'll think about that. Fire, I'll think about that. Emergency food, no. Because thinking it might make it so. Thinking it might actually bring it about. I don't want to think about things like that. It's just one of those things. We're very good on putting things away. When people used to smoke, people would say, "I just started. I'll stop later. My grandfather." Or what we do is we'll say something, and that saying something is the equivalent of doing something. For example, we have to rail against seed oils. Whatever you do, just say seed oils. That's my thing for the day. I'm doing great. Seed oils. I am telling you, no, I am promising you. Red Cross, FEMA, everybody is telling you, you better have emergency food ready to go and last at least a week. And that doesn't mean, well, we got some banana chips and jerky. No. 2,000 calories a day, 3 meals a day with a variety that won't drive you and your kids crazy. Do you know how fast you go through that? Well, we'll go to Costco and pick. No, we're not talking about this. You need something with a 25-year shelf life, a variety that works. Prepare with Lionel.com. Remember, Americans do not want to think about this. No, not interested in that. Really? Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. Okay. What about Russia? I don't know. If there was some kind of if Russia says, enough of this crap and lobs a tactical nuclear weapon into Kyiv or somewhere, you think you're going to feel it? You think we're going to feel anything here? Anything? If the dock workers decide, now we're going to pick it up. Now we're going to pay back the Democrats for all the help they've given us over the years. We're going to pick up our strike now where we left off. And we're going to shut it. I can go through 1,000 different scenarios. Prepare with Lionel.com. Go right now, my friends. And as we speak, this is the most important thing in the world. You get a 3-month emergency food kit right now. You get 6 free bonuses when you order right now. Can't say this enough. Oh, one more thing. Don't ever forget mypillow.com. Don't ever forget Mike Lindell. Christmas, this is the easiest thing in the world. Slippers, towels, bathrobes, pillows. It's nobody says, pillow. Are you kidding? They're the greatest. Think about this. Makes sense. mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. My friends, you have to understand something about this country. You got to understand the way people think. People do not like to think. People do not. There's no depth to it. Let me go another thing too. How do you feel? Do you think that does anyone actually feel that Elon Musk might be getting a little bit too much of a Budinsky? That he's a Budinsky? Do you think that maybe he might be? Anybody? 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 Oh, Tom Harden, don't eat your pillow. Tom Hardy, how do you think of that, buddy? How do you think of that? Does it just come to you? Does it just I don't know, like you're like a bolt of lightning? How do you do that? God, it's great. Lolly says, yes, Elon is staying too long at the beach. I think so. OA says, it's okay, let him. Why is it okay? Why? Why is it okay? Do you think he's going to just all of a sudden take a back seat? Or is he just saying, I'm the richest man in the world and I'm going to do my Tesla cars and all of the whatever? Anybody? Elon's contribution is most welcome. What's his contribution? Oh, I tend to agree, but what exactly? You just like him. Uh-oh. I said, I don't trust that man at all. There's this stuff that people are saying. Let me also tell you something. How about Dr. Oz? How about Dr. Oz? Why not? I think, remember, Trump liked Dr. Oz because you know why? Dr. Oz is a cool guy and he was on TV. And Dr. Oz was a complete idiot when he ran against Fetterman. Remember when he goes, and I told my wife to get some crudité. And she went to the store to get some crudité. You know how much most people say, what the hell's crudité? This guy was just, couldn't hurt. If the president wants him, you pick him. Let me ask you this. Anybody worried about Bobby Kennedy? Bobby Kennedy looking all right to you? Is anybody watching Bobby Kennedy? I'm going to say something. You're going to say, don't worry about it. He was a heroin addict. Any relapse? Anybody ever talk about that? Is that possible? You ever talk to heroin addicts? You think alcoholism is tough. Heroin? It's one thing when you heroin, you know what that does to your brain? Ask Keith Richards about this. Ask anybody who's been. Do you wonder about this? I hope somebody's doing this. I hope somebody's getting Bobby the Deuce aside. I hope they're saying, listen to Bobby. You okay? Do you think what happens if Bobby starts having some acting inappropriately? I don't know what happened with that crazy, that author or news person, but Bobby's going to be careful about that. What I'm trying to tell you is this. Be very careful. Don't say, I'm all in. No. Remember, they work for you. Think of Bobby Kennedy and Elon as your employee. Elon Musk is absolutely, positively, 100%. This is the way I do it. I'm efficient. Okay, well, guess what? I'm the efficiency expert. You work for me. YouTube, X is one thing. That's great. How about that blue ski? You may call it blue sky. I call it blue ski. Anybody into that blue ski? You see how they're just shelving people left and right? Oh, my God. Are you seeing this? Are you seeing this blue ski? Anybody into the blue ski? It's like Latinx. I wrote some other things too. Oh, the Pope is going to be canonizing some new people. Isn't that wonderful? New saints. That was the best part of Catholic school were the saints. I loved it. Elon's being summoned to the UK to discuss disinformation. Isn't that great? And what do you think is going to happen to Diddy? I'm going to be on my friend Sean Atwood today for about a half an hour. Later on to talk about the latest regarding Diddy. Huh? Yeah, half an hour. Later on, 5:30-ish, something like that. Because let me tell you what's going on with Diddy. He ain't going to go to court. You'll never see him in court. And he is not ever, 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 ever going to, it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Why they brought this, I have no earthly idea. I don't know if they got all the information, if they seized the information they want, and they went in yesterday and they seized documents from his cell. This guy supposedly, Diddy, is having his family and others break prison rules or jail rules regarding telephone calls. See, I can't call witnesses up and say, hey, if you testify against me, I'll kill you. I can't do that. But what I can do is I can call somebody who's on my list and have them three-way me into somebody else. So the record looks like I called, let's say, my son or daughter. Pilgrim says, oh, when the saints come marching in, Doda, Doda. Indeed. By the way, if you want to read the best, there is a book, the best book ever. It's called Saints Preserve Us. Let me give you the link. if you're in the slightest bit of any, this is the link to it. It is the best book, bar none, on the saints. I went to one of my favorite stories. I went to a school called St. Lawrence. St. Lawrence of Rome was put on a gridiron. A gridiron. I love that. Basically a grill. And he was barbecued to death. And his line was, "Turn me over, I'm done on this side." Now, when you say that story, you go, "Oh, that didn't happen." Read all the stories, all the accounts. We heard this as a kid. Think about that. "Turn me over, I'm done on this side." Imagine you're a kid and you're listening to this and you're trying to lure kids into becoming Catholics. And what do? You read a list of all the people who were killed because they were Catholics. Kind of a disincentive, don't you think? Maybe I'm wacky that way. You got it? Okay, excellent. My friends, let me remind you a couple of things here. Number one, follow Mrs. Al at Lynn's Warriors, one of the absolute best. Well, it's huge. It's huge. It's huge. And there is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful story. I want you to do this. Ladies, did you ever have, this is her piece on Barbie. Maybe only women get this, or maybe whatever. But I want you to watch this. This is her link. I one time interviewed a woman or a person who wrote a book on where Barbie came from. Barbie, G.I. Joe. These were parts of our collective society that many people just dismiss as being not necessarily relevant or critical. And I disagree greatly. All right, dear friends, have a great and a glorious and a beautiful and a fantastic day. By the way, Trump picks Linda McMahon as Secretary of Education. I hope she immediately disbands the Secretary of Education. Also, there's a wonderful piece by Milton Friedman about what he would get rid of in terms of regulatory pieces that nobody needs. All right, dear friends, have a great and a glorious day. Don't ever change and mean that sincerely. And until later on, remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. Dead.